YouTubers. Anyway, welcome to another DHG Industries stream. My name is Derek G. I will be your hostess with the mostest. Now, I know I've played this specifically all through this beginning for Horizon Zero Dawn with you guys watching already once, but I actually went out and bought the complete edition of the game. This includes Frozen Wilds. Unfortunately, I cannot show off anything cool because when I deleted the game from the PlayStation after returning the disc to my library, I accidentally deleted my save file. So I'm literally having to start from scratch doing this game, and it's kind of a bummer because I had all purple weapons. Hey, other Derek. I had all purple weapons with, tons of mods on them. I had the best melee protection, outfit, the whole 9 yards. So, but I really love the game, so it's not going to be a hardship to start over. Plus, with the addition of the extra content, the level cap has increased, and they added a new skill tree, which is called Traveler. So, as you can see, I'm going to be focusing on balancing when I level, balancing my skills, because last time I focused completely on Forager and, so I could get all of this stuff here, and then I started expanding out to the other skill trees, and that put me at a disadvantage when it came to defeating machines and stuff when I needed to get their components or I needed to do some leveling up, and it made the grind a little bit more extreme for me. But this time I'm going to, like I said, balance it out a little bit more. Like I'm going to get all of the first level skills that I can, and then I will pick and choose from there which branches I'm going to focus on as I go, because the expense of the skill increases, of course, as you go up. But I had completely maxed out Aloy by the time, and I hadn't even hit the level 50. So it is possible to do so many side quests and whatnot that you just max your skills without maxing your level, which is kind of cool, truthfully. I even started a New Game Plus in ultra hard mode and everything, and so I'm really kind of bummed that I lost that save file, but I'm really happy that I was able to get this game. Now, for those of you who live in the States, I don't know how different it is for every area of the United States, and I don't know the prices in Canada. I do not do that kind of research, but for a short period of time right now, GameStop is selling brand new copies of Horizon Zero Dawn, the complete set or complete edition, for $20. So if you are a first, not a free member, but a first level paid member for their rewards card, which I am, which is, gives you a slight discount when you buy and everything, used games, but you get points to get stuff. So, whatever. I could spend a whole 20-minute session with the rewards program and how it's gone downhill. But anyway, you're looking at taxes and all that stuff. Of course, I live in California, so the sales taxes and stuff are not the worst in the nation, but they're pretty high. It came out to 21 and some change after everything was said and done. Oh, what time is it? Hold on, guys. Sorry, my dogs are driving me crazy. You got over half an hour. Go lay down. They're whining. I know you guys can't hear it because I've started recording videos on
You want to be alone?
PC using the Microsoft game
I've been thinking about your
thing
training
that
anyway.
came with the last big
I've learned
update
to hunt,
to
learned to
Windows
spy.
10. And
That is a lesson I failed to teach.
so yeah, I have to get around to
You learn it
remembering
now.
to
Of
upload
course.
the 2
I'll
videos
always
that
learn
I
what you have
made
to teach.
using
been
that
some
thing.
trouble
It has
recently.
made my life a lot
It
more
affords an
simple
opportunity to
because I
learn
don't
those
have to
lessons
worry
that
about
will be dangerous.
having a third party glitchy,
die.
hard to operate
Descend into the embrace
uh,
and hunt until you have gathered the parts for
video
firearms.
capture. Like I had
Firearms?
open broadcasting software,
What
which
kind
is
of trouble are we
not
talking about?
technically not hard
Once you
to,
have the
to
parts,
operate with.
you
It's
will
just
meet me
it's kind of
there
a pain in
at
the
the gate
butt
beyond the village of
when
Mother's
you
Heart.
want to do certain things.
At the edge of the
And
embrace?
having
Yes.
Microsoft
Now
include
be on
this
your way.
into their update for Windows has made life a lot easier
Something else
on
bothering
me
you?
because then all I have to do, since I play with a controller, is get into a game, hit and hold the home button on the controller, and it will bring up the menu, and then I just use my mouse to start the recording and continue on what I'm doing. And it's
you
also
worrying
that
about
way
what
when I want to
happens
turn it off.
after the
So yeah,
This is clear.
I'm going to be
Will
doing
be
more
accepted as
PC
one of the
gaming
five
than
that
console
will be
gaming,
announced.
most likely in the future. There might be certain
Even if the
exclusives,
project
like I
is
don't know if the
won't-
next
There is
Horizon
much
Zero
to do,
Dawn will
boy.
be exclusive to
Discuss this later.
PlayStation, since Sony, made Horizon. I'm pretty sure it will be, and that would probably be the only
Anything else you want
reason
me to do while I'm
that
down in the
I
embrace?
would buy another PlayStation.
Oh,
Is because I
brought
like
up
this
my
game
gas food
a
right
lot.
You could hunt a week's worth of meat for her, if you find the time.
Wouldn't mind if she'd say thanks just once.
My library
Rather
lets me
follows the
borrow
law.
games for about
Their
3
signs
weeks
toward
at a
it is
time,
honorable, eminence.
and
If you say so.
it took me a little over a week, and that's, I wasn't playing it 8 hours a day every day like I do sometimes
I'll
with
go
games.
gather the parts, but I'm
But
also gonna take Karst to visit.
Aloy,
I do
that man breaks the law every time he speaks to you.
And I'm glad he
I do
does.
like this game, and I beat
wanna
it in
buy
a little over a
Tripcaster,
week.
And no other traders will
Um,
sell to outcasts.
Just really
Stock it
like
with ammunition, then.
I didn't play anything else. If I wasn't playing on the console playing this
That
game,
sounds
then I was like
ominous.
reading on the internet or whatever.
Alright.
But
See what the
I
news
wasn't
is.
playing anything else except this game, and that's what I'm going to be doing again because I really want to collect everything. I forgot how to jump. That wasn't it. There we
Something's
go.
really bothering him. If
Uh,
he thinks I'm gonna abandon him, he's wrong.
Anyway, I was trying to talk and play at the same time, and I couldn't remember the jump button. It happens. So, one of my favorite things about this is that even though the map is not actually that huge, it really isn't. It feels big, and there's a lot of stuff to do, and there's always stuff that will bring you back to the other areas to complete because you can't always do everything the first time. There's collecting things. For those of you who haven't done any research about this, I don't know, but there are sets of different bandages, ancient vessels, they're actually coffee mugs, but whatever. Metal flowers, which I personally believe that they are, they're like satellite things. Spoiler alert. Okay, so they're actually things that Gaia planted to communicate with the various machines when she was terraforming the planet again. And she shows her creative expression by writing poems and stuff inside the code. It's really interesting. But you don't learn that. You don't learn what they potentially are or anything like that until way late in the game storyline. And then these are Banuk figures. They're little they look kind of like llamas or something. Anyway, this guy who was exiled from the Banuks left them on various peaks of the world and he's telling a story about why he was exiled and the son he left behind, and little things that he knows that the kid will never see, but it makes him feel better. And then apparently they added collectibles in Frozen Wilds, so this is gonna be interesting. I knew they added new data points. That was like, totally expected that they would do that, because you learn most of the things that happened in the past just by doing searching out various little snippets of audio or things to read in the environment. I found all of certain ones, but not others. I went and got all of the collectibles. That was one thing that I actually did do. And before I beat the end of the game, I went and did all the collectibles. Am I supposed to be going that way? Okay. My dog's out here bugging me because he either wants to go outside, which I'm not taking him out, or he wants food, and it's not food time yet. So he's going to suffer, and he's going to make me suffer with him. Unless I, extremely yell at him, which I don't like doing. Makes me feel like I'm a bad brother. My mom calls them my fur brothers. Anyway. So, things I discovered playing through the first time. Do not bother to, gather, but do not bother to hunt, at least animals,
2 days.
For the time being. You will have plenty of time to go and do stuff, gather items and discover new areas. You'll have plenty of time to do that once you've gotten to the point where you become a seeker.
As if there could be an excuse for that. Alright, time to gather the parts for some fire.
Do not... Okay.
I should find a herd.
You will find yourself with a lot of wood. In the early part of the game, it might seem like you'll never run out of wood, but you will. So, as you can see, you start out with a low inventory. You can build to expand these things by going and gathering the resources you need to do the upgrades for your equipment. You still don't find... I found myself still running out of room fairly often towards later end of the game, once I had upgraded all of these. And so I ended up selling off a lot of stuff that nobody will buy wood from you, by the way. So you're just dropping it if you find yourself with too much in your inventory. But I will say this. You're gonna want one full row of wood and one full row of wire, okay? Because when you get different types of arrows, my favorite arrow was I can't remember the name of the arrow. Different bow. It was fast, hit hard, but not super hard, and it always took wood, wire, and metal shards to make the arrows. And you go through so many freaking arrows in this game. It's crazy. And another thing that is a little weird, for those of you who've never played this before, metal shards are not only crafting materials for you to make arrows, amongst other things, but they are your source of income. So sometimes, no, I'm not going to say this happens very often, especially if you play through on easy mode to level your character up before you move on to harder modes. But sometimes you will have to make the decision to be practically poor to be able to, so you can make more arrows to defend yourself instead. And that happened to me a few different times later on in the game. So I'll be like, oh, I almost have enough money to get this thing that I really, really want, and then I'll be like, damn, I need more arrows. And so I had to sacrifice, like, sometimes 50 to 100 to 200 metal shards to make arrows for these huge battles that I was in against like behemoths and I hate flying things. I hate flying things. I really do. They suck. And so it just, yeah. You're gonna I forgot about that. The quest for Greta is to bring her food. You need to like collect food for her. If I remember right. Is it Greta, or is it the other? Yeah, see, you need to. So, yeah, you have to go over here. Then this is what's supposed to be. You're supposed to bring her food. So, yeah, I forgot about that. It's a side quest. You don't have to do it. You truthfully don't have to do most anything in this game. You don't have to do the collectibles at all, other than, you know, if you are just simply like me, where you just want to have fun and explore the map and just do your thing. And there it is. Where the hell is that thing? I must have scared the it sounded like either a turkey or a fox. I must have scared it. There's a boar. I hate that in the beginning. I used to be able to one-hit kill these things. Damn it. And you can't get your arrows back. If you miss, it's fucked. If you hit it, it's fucked. You don't get your arrows back. I wish I could get my arrows back. Because it really is insane just how many metal shards you use to craft your freaking arrows. See, it's 1 metal shard and 2 wood to craft 10 arrows, which doesn't seem like a lot, but it adds up. Like, it really, really adds up. But I guess it's better than buying your stuff. Why is it taking me over? Yeah. Ducky, back up. No. He's being a little pissant. He likes to bug the hell out of me. It's like and he only does it, I mean, he'll come out every, when he's hungry or, stuff like that. But he sometimes, I swear to Pete, he waits to hear the controller noises. And then once he hears the controller noises, he decides that he wants my attention. That I should not be playing video games. And so he will come and he will start, like, hella bugging me. For attention or whatever. And he just, yeah, it can be kind of a pain in the ass. I love him though. I wouldn't trade Ducky for anything. He's my boy. Yeah. I know what you want. Now I'm tempted to sing that song. Can't always get what you want, but you know. He's gonna get what he wants as soon as I can. Stop whining. All that does is annoy me. You don't want to annoy me. You want me to do you favors. Keep everything. Unless it specifically says selling for metal shards and nothing else. Keep everything. You'll know from experience as you play that certain items you won't use as much, so you can sell off excess stacks. Like you'll get a ton of sparkers, you'll get a ton of blaze canisters, you know, and you don't necessarily use them much because the arrows that do what I call elemental damage do not do a whole lot of physical damage. So you'll use maybe a handful of them depending on how you play, and so you don't always have to have a ton of them around. I usually keep 3 or 4 stacks depending on it, whether or not it's a popular thing that I use, of each of the crafting items. My favorite arrows, besides just the regular damage arrows, is the corruption arrows that you learn to make later on, and that's because you can use they're basically confusion arrows or poison arrows, depends on who you use them on. If you use them on machines, the machines get confused and they start attacking the other machines in the area. If you use them on humans, it starts to poison them. Because corruption is poisonous to humans. So, obviously. So, it's just like you'll start being able to make potions in the game, and you can make a potion that stops the corruption and also protects you, continues to protect you from corruption in the future. Oh, come on, really? Now they're coming towards me. Okay. Oh. Ah, missed. Okay, so I jumped by accident. See, this one says just selling for metal shards. That's what I mean. Those are those kind of things with just that. You can go ahead and sell at the nearest merchant once you are able to get there. Always go to every single merchant that you can get access to, either from freeing a bandit camp to just being, you know, yourself, continue exploring, going to the different towns for quests and stuff like that. Just check every single merchant you go across, because they sometimes have specialty items. Like one of the ones that you'll first run across, they will have the maps to unlock the icons for the locations for all the collectibles. So you know, they don't tell you exactly where, for the most part. They just tell you where to look for it, like where to start, like the general area that it should be in. And so you once you have that unlocked, you can just roam around collecting all that stuff. There's these things called long necks that are like huge GPS dishes. And what they do is they travel around and they ping the area with radar, and they learn the terrain and where certain things are and everything. And then you can, in the game, you can go and you can climb them. You have to jump onto the back and then climb the neck to the head, and you can basically download what they know, and it'll take the clouds off the map. You know, the fog. It'll take that off the map. So, yeah. No, well, go ahead, Duck. I figured he wanted FOOD. Anyway, if I actually said the word, he. Yeah. And that worked, so, you know. Turkey.
Look out below.
I'm not going down. It wasn't even that big of a jump. Anyway. Trying to get all of the meat, because I think you're supposed to bring her meat, and you're also supposed to, I don't know where Mr. Gibbs is. He's not out here. Hello, Doc. I know I'm grinding a little bit, but I'm trying to make sure I have what I need to do that thing, which I think I do because it says talk to her. But this lady's a trip.
Oh, Mother, I am weak, and I falter.
Hello, Grata.
Oh, Mother, since I was cast out, have I not been constant as the river flows? Have I not kept the vows as the stones do? Show me your grace, All Mother, and provide for me once more.
Good news, Grata. Once again, All Mother has brought you rabbits.
Oh, Mother, your voice cracks like the distant thunder. I hear the songs of grief, Oh, Mother. I would join the call, but I left my prayer beads atop the eastern overlook. I am afraid.
Wait at your camp for me, Grata. I'll see what I can do.
Now you're gonna go get her beads. See, she refuses to talk to you because you're an outcast. And even though she's also an outcast, she wants to follow the tribe's traditions because she's a temporary outcast. And so she refuses to talk to you. Makes not one lick of common sense, but very little of these traditions actually do in the game. And what's funny is that Aloy,
So much for being careful.
tries to point this out to Rost and to a lot of the other tribe people in the beginning of the game, and nobody wants to listen to her. And it's to me, it's absolutely hilarious that Aloy is such a good person in general that she insists on saving humanity, saving life at the end of the game, so that we can all go on.
It's your sister, Alara!
Oh, jeez, yeah, I forgot about that. Can't always get what you want.
Are you out there?
Those are scrappers coming in. They are a horrible thing.
Brom, can you hear?
Do you want treats? Hold on, guys. Okay. So... Gaff me! Gaff me! Do you want food? Okay. I will feed you instead of just giving you treats. Okay? Okay. And you guys... Hey! So... since I'm not playing right now, I will show you a little story with you guys. Oh, dizzy. Hold on a second. I'm having low blood pressure issues. Not really extreme low blood pressure. It's not going below 100 or anything as the top number, but it's lower than it has been. Of course, then again, I've also lost like almost 40 pounds since last year on this time. So, yeah. But, anyway. That's why I went, woo. What was I gonna say? Damn. Anyway. So, Aloy, for the longest time I was calling her Alloy, because her name is one letter off from that word. And it would actually be funny and appropriate for them to use it, considering they both worship and fear the machines. Depending on which faction you talk to. The Nora are actually the most balanced, in my opinion, when it comes to things, though their superstitions are a little weird. Like, they fear but respect the machines. They worship the All-Mother, which is a door to a bunker with a computer response, and they think it's a god. But then again, they are a primitive people. Unfortunately, intentionally so, by somebody from the past. If you play the storyline, you'll understand. Or, hey, this is all spoilers. So, this guy that invented these war machines, and I'm not talking about the machines that you're fighting in this game. He didn't create these. But this guy created war machines that were fully controlled by an AI, though they could be controlled and supervised by humans as well. Could use any and all biomatter to repair and replicate themselves, and unfortunately did not have backup shutdown codes, because the guy decided not to build back doors or hidden codes into any of the machines. Which, anybody who knows anything about computers and programming and all that stuff, that's a severe, stupid thing to do. The people that actually program and write and update and stuff, the systems, should always have at least one secure back door to go in and be able to stop thing, especially if it's going to be a militarized robot with an AI and the ability to use you as fuel to create more people. Anyway, so the guy did all this, and then the woman who had left his company earlier to start her own very successful business in saving the planet using machines, he contacted her, and she decided to create Project Horizon Zero Dawn. And who wants food? Who wants it? You want it, Gibbs? Alright. There you go. There you go, guys. There you go. Anyway, yeah. So she comes on, and they discovered that there's no way that they can crack the encryption for the AI, virus, as it's turned into, and that they were going to be eradicated. That eventually the machines would completely eradicate all life on Earth, and then they would go into hibernation because they wouldn't be able to make any more or power themselves, since they need to use biofuel. And since they're all part of a hive mind, they're not going to kill each other to survive either. So that happens. Earth was completely and totally devastated. However, Project Horizon Zero Dawn, the project for which the game is named for, was a embryonic and seed bunker project. No humans were allowed to continue to procreate or live past a certain part. There was no multi-generational bunkers. In fact, through reading and audio logs, you learn that anybody who was a part of the main project for Project Zero Dawn was sterilized once they got to a certain point in the effort to save life. And that was what was so great about Elizabeth Sobek, the doctor who was the idea maker and leader and made all of this possible, is that she didn't want to just save humanity. She wanted to save life. Basically, she wanted to make sure that the planet would continue on after humanity had fallen. And yeah, she made it so that humanity would be able to be reborn as well. But it wasn't like that was the priority. Everything was important. So the guy who created the war machines that started this whole mess and hired and then talked to Sobek about making Horizon Zero Dawn, Elizabeth Sobek sacrificed her life to save her team when a bunker seal would not shut properly. And so since she was dead, the guy who started the whole thing to begin with had his own personal bunker and had control of all the other bunkers and information and stuff, because he was also a big part of and funded the majority of this project. And so he decided to erase the knowledge logs, the learning center, for the new generation of humans that were going to be born, and created by Gaia, the AI whose job was it to re-terraform Earth and to grow and release humans created from the genomes that were in the system. The first generation of new humans wouldn't be born traditionally. And so he decides that why teach humanity everything about what used to be? He decided that giving them this knowledge, even if it were to come with warnings and other teachings to learn not to do this again, that it was too dangerous. That he had to protect the innocents from the horror and the knowledge. Basically, he decided to play God. And he's the type of guy that he's a sociopath. He's narcissistic. He thinks he's right all the time, and the only time he asks for help or anything, or even takes help for anything, is when he is completely backed into a corner and he can't do it himself. And so he erases the knowledge archive, so all of humanity's greatest everything, from music to movies to books to science, math, it didn't matter. It was all gone and was not going to be able to be recovered ever again. And then he killed all of the head scientists for the project so they would not be able to recreate it. And it's a very sad scene when you get to that point and you're watching what happened, because if Elizabeth Sobek had still been alive, he wouldn't have done it. And he wouldn't have been able to. She would have stopped him. But once you play through the game, you realize that even though he did that, And you'll meet this guy who's kind of he's a snake. Let's just say. The only reason he helps you is because his own neck's on the line. But he points out, and he's right, that by him erasing all of that knowledge and everything, all it really did was doom humanity to make the same mistakes all over again. Because right now in their society, besides the danger of the machines, there is a rift. There's like 4 different kingdoms, I think. There's the Nora. There's the Banuk. There's the Sun Kingdom. I can't remember their name off the top of my head. And then there's I call them the Steelworkers. There's the guys. There's another faction where they work steel. They're like dwarves. Anyway, they're not shaped like dwarves. They remind me of dwarves from like D&D, and Lord of the Rings. Anyway, and they all have different attitudes about things. Like the Sun Kingdom worships their leader, who they call the Sun King, as a god. They worship the sun. And you actually learn where some of these factions grew their roots from, because the first generation of humans got sent out of the bunker, and some of them, they were all about seeing the sun. Some of them were all about seeing and exploring what was out there. Some of them wanted to be able to come back into the bunker if they got cold or whatever, and so you can see where the different factions started. But the problem is that they grew over the generations. They grew to form rifts with each other. They didn't continue to see each other as one continuous tribe, because of the different ways that they thought of the things that were important to them. And in recent history in this game, the Sun King, before the one that's currently in power, he had gone mad with power. He really did think he was a god. He really did think that they should worship him. And he used to raid other kingdoms or other tribes to get slaves and sacrifices. And in the Blood Ring, or Sun Ring, or I call it Blood Ring. So basically, gladiatorial bouts where if they survived, then it must be the will of the sun, and that kind of thing. But nobody ever survived. They made sure of it. And kind of like the old Roman Colosseum fights, where the odds would become more stacked and more stacked and more stacked as time went by, because if the gladiator survived to X amount of whatever, they'd be set free. They didn't want that to happen. But and it's weakened humanity to the point where the machines, now that there's this other faction to it, that the machines are starting to get cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. They aren't able to build a cohesive, united front against this new enemy. In fact, Aloy ends up being the hub of hope and strength for everybody.
Rom, please! It's Alara!
Damn it. This is what I mean about going through ammo like crazy. Oh, come on, really?
Rom, are you out there?
It knows where I am. Oh, cool, I got the boar too.
Please, Rom! Come find me!
Nope, I didn't get the boar. I thought I got the boar. That would have been cool.
Long and quiet.
Get over here in the tall grass before it sees me. There it is. Aw! Focused on one and didn't see the other one. It's alright. Yes, I fed them. When they came back in from outside, I fed them instead of just giving them treats and then having to feed them. Well, he's lying.
Are you out there?
Can't be too prepared.
Oh no, that was already closed when I went in there to close it. I don't know, it was already closed. Okay.
Mom, can you hear me?
Where is this chick? Oh, over there.
Got one.
Yeah.
Mom, please! It's Alara!
And slide! Alright. Raccoon. Boar.
I'm here from. Are you out there?
Not so bad.
The two rarest animals for me in this game are raccoons and rats. I know, that makes no sense, because rats are hugely common now,
Please,
everywhere,
Mom, come find me.
but yeah. I have the hardest time. I have to actually go into bunkers and stuff to get rats.
This'll last.
Collect. Every herb is sacred. Anyway. Anyway. Monty Python fans will get it. God, you can see it from here. I didn't realize that. Anyway. So now that I've got a waypoint marker that I can follow, I'm gonna go and talk to this chick so that she will stop yelling and screeching for her brother. I did, as far as I know, other than the DLC, because I did not buy the DLC for this game when I borrowed it from the library.
Mom, can you hear me?
But I did every single side quest. I did, of course, all the main quests. I did all of the collecting quests. The only thing I didn't do, is I did not do the,
Mom, please! It's Alara!
the Hunter's Lodges quests. They're like a side thing, where they give you different challenges to do to become part of the Hunter's Guild or whatever. And if you do them, then you're able to earn passage into the hunting lodge in Meridian. Which, because I didn't complete them, I have no idea what's in there. I'm assuming it will be items of, decent value, I'm hoping. But, yeah.
Who are you calling out for? Do you need help?
I have nothing against outcasts. Far from it. But I shouldn't talk to you. I don't want to get in trouble.
I don't see anyone else around to help.
I guess you're right. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be callous. My brother was cast out, but his sentence has ended. He should have come home, but he didn't, and his camp was covered in blood.
You said your brother's camp was soaked with blood?
The Braves went looking for him, and that's what they found. All I can think about is what might have happened. Is he really dead? Or maybe just wounded? Is he suffering? Does he need help? I can't stand it not knowing.
What are you doing out here all alone?
Each day I cut a notch on the wall, so I knew Brom's sentence was over. Then I cut
Oh.
3 more. But he still hadn't come back.
Okay, so
I begged the matriarch
I bought
to send Braves to find him,
a
and all
controller
they
charger
found
for
was a
my
blood-soaked
PS4 controllers.
camp.
I have a
The Braves think he must
controller
be
charger
dead.
that's not unlike it
But I have to
for
know the truth.
my PS3
Why can't I
controllers.
look like
I
him?
had one for my 360 controllers when I had it.
Why was your
And,
brother cast out?
Brom was always a little different, a
The
little touched. One of the hunters had a cruel heart.
for
and
some
never let him
reason,
alone.
even though
I
the
was gone
controller
about an
was
hour.
on the charger,
The
the
hunter
light
set
was
after me like
orange and
always, but
everything.
this time, Brom struck back with a rock and split the man's skull.
For some reason, it wasn't charging.
Spirits made
I
me
think
do
that
he said.
it was the
We
go-between that I
felt
was
it
doing.
forgotten. It cost him 10 years.
The companies
should have
that
left him alone.
make the peripherals, the third-party peripherals or accessories,
What do you mean forgotten?
All Mother
they
curses,
in their
blasphemies, who won't
infinite
repent,
stupidity
banishing them from her eternal memory. Those
decided
lost
to make it
years are the
USB
forgotten.
cord only, so I can't charge. I can't plug it into a regular power
It
strip
was
or
such
wall
a burden for him,
socket.
and there was nothing I could do to help.
Because I do not have one of those fancy wall socket things
I'll do
that
what
have
I
the
can
USB
to find your
ports.
brother.
Then let me come
But I
with you.
did have
I won't be a bother. I know how to stay out of sight.
rechargeable battery
I'm fast
slash A1,
If that is how it
A2,
must
or
be,
2A,
just
1A,
find him then.
1 amp, 2 amp
Please.
charging thing that my friend left here for me when he moved. And it apparently wasn't transferring the power like it had been. And so, I'm gonna offer it over to my neighbors because they might be able to use it. I don't think it's gone completely bad. I think it's just, it is what it is. It's decided to stop working. So I'm going to offer to him, but before that, so I moved it over to the other side of my desk, where I used to use the computer, and I plugged it into my computer tower. So hopefully now they'll actually get a charge. If that doesn't work, I'll have to dig up one of my USB wall socket things and see if I can get a charge going for that. I'll move it back over to where I had it. Alright, let's see. I'll be back on here tomorrow, because it'll be 4th of July, and I am unfortunately massively asthmatic, so when it comes to sulfur and smoke in the air, and since I live where I live in California, we've had a couple of really big fires all over the state. 2 of them were not super close, we weren't going to ever get evacuated, but they are close to where I am in town, and so the area is full of smoke. I went out this morning to make a quick run to the grocery store to get dog food and Treats. And Ducky, enough. Go lay down. Go lay down. Thank you. Anyway, and I made a quick run out there, and was making my way through the grocery store, and I had to call my mom about something, and I coughed like a few different times while I was on the phone with her, and she was all like, "Breathe, Derek,"
Yes, but I'm used to it.
because I kept coughing and I was wheezing. And this, I didn't start feeling better until I took my allergy medicine. I have to take 2 different pills for that. I took my allergy meds and then also took a puff of my inhaler. That's when I started feeling better. And that's it. And it's gonna get worse tomorrow. So I'm just gonna stay inside and stream for you guys. Yeah, that's what I just bought today. Was the $20 at GameStop. It was $21 and some change for me to buy it here at GameStop today. I told my mom the only reason I broke my rule and didn't wait until I had lost the other like 40 pounds or whatever that I need to lose for my first goal was because that's like half off. That's like the most awesome price. So I had to get it. And she was like, okay. So. Oh, come on. Let go. Thank you. Kept hitting the wrong button. I had to start over because I didn't save my frickin' save file. I went and got a physical copy of mine. In fact, the only thing that was a code was, believe it or not, was the deluxe stuff, which was the artwork and the PS4 theme. But since I downloaded both and I looked at them, but since the theme's not dynamic, I took it back off, and then I looked through the artwork and then took it back off because it just takes up space. It's been a while since I've run into a game where the DLC was actually on the disc with the game and wasn't like a code for digital download. So that was refreshing. And then I talked to the guy that works that I know that works there, and he said, yeah, GameStop's up for sale, but it's not because they're doing super bad, because GameStop's still making money. Well, I had already beaten the game. I had almost I had maxed out the skill, and I had almost maxed out the base levels, and I'd started a new game plus on ultra hard, but I hadn't gotten any of the extra stuff for that mode or anything, so it wasn't a huge hardship to lose it, because that just means I have to replay through the game, level my character up all over again, which gives me a goal instead of just replaying for the joy of it, But yeah, the reason why GameStop is up for sale, from what he's been told,
Red light.
is because the owner's just he's older. He wants to retire, and he'll get more money selling the company than he would selling his shares to the company, to the stockholders. So yeah. Ack.
Blood, but no body. There's gotta be more to this. Looks like a few drops of blood lead away from the camp.
Waiting for your response. Oh, the things that look like crocodiles or alligators or whatever? A snap maw?
Whose knife is this? Did someone attack Brom with it? Looks like more blood leading away from here.
Cause for me, I don't like the flying things. The bird machines. I don't like those. They're not hard to kill.
There, the bucket.
Well, to me, they're not hard to kill. Yeah.
Did someone bring the blood to the camp?
Cause I take my terror arrows. If I don't remember the name of the damn arrows that I like to use. Anyway, I take the terror arrows and I take their canisters off their back first, and then I aim at their head until the thing underneath their jaw breaks. And then usually by that time they're really super weak, and I can just finish them off either with the normal damage arrows, or which is the easiest way, or I can melee them if they get too close. I also hate the mole rat things. Those things are difficult too. Those yeah. So there are worse things out there, Jack. Much worse. Well, with the terror arrows, you only have to get close, because it does the terror concussion boom. So all you have to do is get the arrow in the general area of where the weak spot is. You don't have to hit it directly on. It's only when you're trying to use the what I call the damage arrows that it becomes a chore. Yeah. Fucking. Oh, come on. I hate not being able to actually target them. Like, actually target them. There we go.
These will keep.
And then of course, if you really want to have fun, you get some confusion arrows. They're called corruption arrows, but you get those, and you get a group of machines. Like you get if you have like 2 snapjaws or whatever, nearby each other, you can use the corruption arrows on one to confuse them, and they'll start attacking the other one. And you can just keep hitting them with the corruption arrows until one of them kills the other, and then you can kill the survivor because they'll be weak. Give me. Yeah, as you unlock the skills and stuff like that, it'll get easier. And as you level up, it'll get a little bit easier, because even though your damage doesn't necessarily go up too much, your health does. And oh, dude, they added a skill tree. Look, Traveler. I don't know what the other ones are, because of course I haven't gotten to the point where I can unlock them. But, dude. And the level cap went up because of the DLC to, I think, 60. And, of course, they have the Frozen Wilds storyline and all that stuff. I haven't done any of that, because of course I have to play through the game again. So, yeah. It's friggin' awesome. And the Shard Salvager, you can disassemble resources and modifications into 50% of their metal shard value. So if you're out and you don't want to fast travel to a merchant, or you don't want to have to deal with a merchant right now because you're trying to farm a certain item, you can basically, for half the value, you can basically disassemble it and keep the shards yourself instead of selling it for full value to the merchant. It also allows you to if you run out, I've never done that, I've never run out, but if you ever run out of metal shards to make arrows, you could use it to do that. Expert Carver makes it so that you get an increased chance for skins, bones, lenses, and hearts. Basically, all of the rare loot items, rare or uncommon. Hoarder increases your resource inventory slots. So I'm really looking forward to see what the things under the question marks are, because that seems like this is going to be my thing. Kind of like how Forger is also something that I really use a lot of when it comes to crafting and everything. This is gonna be important to me as well. So, but I made a promise to myself with this playthrough that I'm gonna unlock all the first level things, because they only cost one skill point to do. Except for, of course, the one that's locked until I get this unlocked. But, and then I'll start being more picky. Like, I'll start filling out, these branches and this one. And then I'll start focusing on the others. Yeah. Yeah.
If Brahm did this, why does he want people to think he's dead? And why desecrate the shrine?
Alright. I gotta keep going.
Look, where are those scrappers popping out?
Let's get them highlighted. Watcher. Scrappers are more important as the enemy though, so let's do this. Okay, you're already invited to the party, dude. You can tell I played this a lot. Oh, man.
Already.
I'll have to, like, see if I can increase my resource satchel, and I can, alright. I need more shards for the rest of it, but damn it, I don't want to leave that part behind. There we go. Do I want that one, or do I want... that one? Crafting, modify weapon, damage, Which way was I supposed to be going? That way, okay. Grab that first. Thank you.
Looks like it was a watcher. If it's Brom, he definitely knows how to handle a spear.
Pick up the vessels. Metal vessels are one of the most common components, and it is also the one that I end up having to sell the most because I don't use them. I'm not sure what they're used to create. I don't remember. But I always end up selling them.
Someone loaded these supplies. Brom was an outcast for a long time. Why take food and gear now?
Hello, Ducky. What, Ducky?
It's the supplies from the cache. Why would they take them and just throw them away?
What? Hi. What do you need? What? Oh god. And now I've got both of them in my lap. Hello. What do you guys need outside? Oh, Jesus. Oh my god. Okay, guys. Well, I'm gonna end the stream here. I'll keep playing for tonight, and you guys can pop in later on in the story so you're not seeing me replay the same thing over again as I did when I did my 2-hour first look experience, whatever you want to call it, for this game originally when I borrowed it from the library. So I will see you guys tomorrow, and I will talk at you later.